Welcome to Career TV. I'm Sammy Hall. This episode I will be talking with Ben Craig, a video producer for OnMedia here in Columbia. Hi, good morning.
How's it going?
What is your name and what do you do?
So yeah, like you said, I'm Ben Craig. I work for OnMedia here in Columbia. I'm a video producer, so that entails both shooting video and editing video on a daily basis.
Okay. What made you choose this type of work?
Well, I first started out my career, or my school, at Southwest Missouri State. Now it's Missouri State University, and I was interested in music, and I did that for a while, but I kind of got burnt out on it, and so I started pursuing actually a career in radio, but kind of didn't find that that was exactly what I wanted to do, so I started getting into photography and video, and it was kind of a combination of all the three, I thought, both kind of audio and video coming together, and just the creativity part of it too. So I kind of got into it that way, and then I went to actually attended the University of Kansas for a couple of years, and got into doing documentary film, and that really kind of sparked my interest in doing more kind of interviews and documentary style work. So kind of spawned from all that, I guess.
Nice. Yeah. What does a typical workday look like for you?
Well, it varies. Usually, I go into my office and I'll either be setting up shoots for the day, or I'll be in the office editing. So we travel around the state quite a bit. We've kind of expanded to a lot of different markets in the state. I go down to the lake a fair amount. I go down to Clinton and Warrensburg and Sedalia. So a lot of the small areas we cover. So it really just varies, but it's a lot of time just setting up the shoots and then working on them in post-production as well.
What does OnMedia do? What are they?
We are we're basically the advertising wing of Mediacom, the cable company here in Columbia, and we cover, like I say, a lot of different areas, and we cover other markets too that are owned by Charter Communications. So we have a sales team that goes out and sells all the airtime, and then they hand it over to the production department, which is where I come in and create the commercials.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
What are some advantages and disadvantages of your job?
Advantages, I think the advantages are that it's varied. I get to work with a lot of different kind of people, a lot of different businesses, churches, colleges, banks, just a lot of different walks of life I get to interact with, and you get to kind of do some cool stuff occasionally. Like we shot a commercial for the dinner train last year, so I got to go out and do that and experience the dinner and kind of just be there for the whole experience of that. Disadvantages, I'd say sometimes it gets a little monotonous if you're doing the same kind of commercial. Everybody sees the car dealer ads. We have to do those for certain dealers. And those get a little repetitive. Certain businesses that just want to get their deals out and their information out every month. It's hard to make those interesting a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I think the advantages definitely outweigh the disadvantages. It's a pretty cool job from time to time. So.
Do you have like a favorite company that you've done advertising for?
Let me think. Well, we do all the Landmark Bank commercials, so those are kind of fun. I'm not the main producer; I usually just assist. But those are always interesting, just because we get to you get to meet a lot of different people and a lot of people on camera saying, "I'm a Landmark." I don't know. A lot of like I say, a lot of smaller businesses we do, so those are always interesting to see. Just different people in different walks of life. I definitely enjoy more of the kind of humanities side of it. Like a couple weeks ago, I shot a commercial for a preschool at the lake, and it's just nice, seeing the teachers and seeing the kids interact and getting some of that real kind of interaction between kids and teachers. So
that's sweet.
Yeah, it's always fun.
If you hire someone, what do you look for in an employee?
Well, I don't do any direct hiring. I have worked with, been in the process of hiring interns, and we just want people that are hardworking and dedicated. We definitely look for creativity, obviously. Yeah. It's a pretty important thing to have in production and advertising. But really, we just want somebody who wants to get in there and sink their teeth in and learn as much as they can. And you'll find a lot of people have strength in one area. They might be really good at design, but they don't really know much about working with the camera or editing. And so it's nice to have somebody who's good in one area, but you can kind of teach them in another area. So
it's a nice learning experience for people too.
Yeah, it definitely is. We've had a few interns the last couple of years. One of them we actually hired. She's a William Woods graduate, and she does a really great job. She's really creative and really good at design and kind of conceptual design. So,
how might your job change in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, it's definitely a very changing, workplace, I guess, or field. Technology definitely influences kind of my job for sure, because they're always coming out with new cameras or new editing software, just updates or whatever. I think it'll change with just the access of video, and the internet's definitely kind of come into play full force. We do a lot of web stuff now, not just TV. So I think it's really going to kind of, with the whole just kind of convergence of video and the internet and TV kind of coming together, I think that'll change a lot. It's hard to see exactly where it's going to go because it's always changing, but I do know that they're always, like I mentioned, they're always coming out with new cameras, so we will probably update in the next couple of years.
Yeah. And
the workflows just get bigger and more storage space and all that. So it's just kind of preparing for whatever comes. So which is interesting. I always find new technology to be pretty cool. So.
You know how like the commercials for I think it's Subway or something, they do like the hashtag things. It's like a recurring.
Right. Like
everybody's kind of doing the hashtag thing. Do you see any like recurring themes in advertising lately, like in the advertisements you're doing?
I mean, for the last year or so, like Facebook's been really big. The whole social media, people are really trying to get into that. For a while, it was couponing, and yeah, Twitter is definitely kind of come into play. I think they just went on the stock market, so I'm sure they're going to try to really get into advertising and grow their business. But I don't know. It's always changing. But we definitely find that the traditional methods of getting your message across still work. Getting a solid message and certain little things that you want to add into your commercial. They don't change. If you watch traditional commercials on TV, there's they have devices that that work.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff, I don't think it's going to change.
Obviously, if it's working for the company, then it's always going to work.
Right. Exactly.
What did you learn in school that helped you most in your job, even though you had the changing theme?
I think what helped me most was just learning a variety of different things. I have a little bit of knowledge from a lot of different places, whether it's film studies or video production or lighting. I took photography courses. It definitely, I think, just having a wide variety of interests helped me out. Because for a while I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I mean, I knew I had all these interests, but I didn't know how to kind of put it all together. And I think that helped me, just being varied.
Yeah.
Which for a lot of people it wouldn't, because you have to focus on one thing. But I think that helped me out.
Well, you're in a creative career, so it's good that you have that variety.
Yeah.
What do you wish you had studied more in school?
I mean, I think lighting and stuff like that. I had courses in that, but you can always learn more with that, and going into different situations and learning how to tackle that is always you can always learn more. Any lighting course I ever had, I always really loved. So I think if I would have taken more, it'd be even better, because I always really enjoy kind of learning how to, like I say, go into a situation and create a totally different environment than what you came into. And that's always a challenge, especially when you go into really small businesses and small areas or small spaces. And sometimes you just have to work with what you got. But I think that would help. Probably maybe some more web stuff. It seems like the internet's growing. It's always changing, and I probably could have learned more about coding and design and all that stuff, but of web pages. But I never really got into that. But.
Well, it's always changing, so you're always gonna.
Yeah, and it's gotten better to where you can, they have customized things where you can easily create content for your web page and stuff like that. So it's getting more automated, but there's always, the creative part to it.
Yeah.
Too, so.
If you could go back in time and talk to your teenage self, what would you say?
I just say, don't worry, it's going to be fine. I think a lot of times when you're a kid, you kind of worry about what you're going to do and how things are going to end up. I think you just have to, whatever you do, just work hard and don't be afraid to, sink your teeth into something full force, because that's really where the benefits come. No matter what you do, even if you're working, a job that you don't like, if you get out there and kind of, just get to know people, get to know your community better, I think you're going to have success no matter what you do. And it's just having a positive attitude in whatever you're working on. So, like I said, you don't always have, the perfect situation, but you just got to work hard. So, there's one thing I did want to mention. Another disadvantages of kind of my career. I did want to point on this. It's definitely, there's a lot more opportunity than there used to be, but I think for someone going into video and video production, there's not as many choices in an area like Missouri or smaller areas like Columbia. Definitely not smaller towns, but even just mid-sized cities. You have your broadcast and you have your few kind of production places, but a lot of times you have to make the big move to either a big city or say like LA or New York, and that's a pretty big jump for a lot of people from the Midwest or smaller communities. So I'd say that's kind of one disadvantage, is that there's not as much opportunity in smaller communities. So people have to kind of be ready for that. I definitely wanted to get that point across.
The change is it's pretty big.
So.
All right. Well, thank you for talking with us
today.
today.
Yeah, anytime, no problem.
Well, that's it for this episode of Career TV. I'm Sammy Hall. Thanks for watching.